Welcome to SkyWeek. I'm Tony Flanders from Sky and Telescope magazine, and I'll be your guide to the astronomical wonders that are currently on display overhead. Let's see what's happening in the sky from Monday, April 28th to Sunday, May 4th. The moon is invisible on Monday and Tuesday, and emerges very low in the west shortly after sunset on Wednesday. It's higher in a darker sky on Thursday, and then it climbs rapidly toward a rendezvous with Jupiter on Sunday. The planet Mars is high in the evening sky now, to the right of the star Spica in the constellation Virgo. It's now 2 weeks past its closest approach to Earth, but it's still shining just about as bright as it ever will this year. This is a great time to view it through a telescope, so see if you can find an observatory that offers public viewings. You won't have another chance this good until 2016. Unfortunately, Mars is a small planet, just half the diameter of Earth. So even at its best, it appears tiny in a telescope. Even so, observing Mars is always fun, because it's the planet most similar to Earth. With Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, all you see is clouds, though the clouds can be quite interesting. Mercury and Mars have rocky surfaces. But if you think Mars is small, Mercury is ridiculous. You can barely make out any features at all. Besides, Mercury is an airless, heavily cratered world, much like the Moon. Mars, by contrast, has rocks, air, clouds, dust storms, and even ice caps like Earth. Mars's North Polar ice cap happens to be pointing toward us right now, making it especially easy to see. Its core is water ice, very much like the ice cap on Antarctica. But the polar cap grows bigger during the Martian winter, when it's covered with a wide but thin layer of frozen carbon dioxide, better known as dry ice when you buy it in a store on Earth. Every now and then you hear a big hoopla about water on Mars. What's that all about? Actually, there's never been any doubt that there's water on Mars. The question is whether it exists in liquid form. The two polar caps combined contain enough ice to cover Mars with 70 feet of water if they melted. However, the ice caps can't melt for two reasons. First of all, Mars is a lot colder than Earth. Temperatures occasionally climb above freezing at the equator, but never at the poles. More important, ice doesn't melt on Mars's surface, no matter how warm it gets. Instead, it goes straight from solid to gas, just like dry ice on Earth. You might understand why, if you've ever tried cooking at high altitude, where the air is thinner. Every 1,000 feet up, the boiling point drops about 2 degrees. So, water boils at 212 degrees at sea level, 202 degrees in Denver, the mile-high city, and just 155 degrees on top of Mount Everest. Mars's atmosphere is super thin, the same as Earth, 17 miles above the surface. So on Mars, water boils at about 40 degrees below zero. In other words, ice boils away before it melts. The reason that matters is that as far as we know, liquid water is necessary for life. Mars used to have rivers, lakes, and maybe even oceans, but that was long ago when its atmosphere was thicker. Liquid water can't last long on the surface now. It either boils or freezes. However, Mars may still have liquid water underground. Several photos from the Mars Global Surveyor show gullies that have changed over the course of a few years. And the changes are easiest to explain if liquid water bubbled up from the ground and ran down the gully before boiling away. Next week, we'll talk about Ursa Major, the Great Bear. Until then, this is Tony Flanders from Sky and Telescope magazine, wishing you clear skies and great views.
Brought to you by Meade Instruments Corporation, manufacturers of telescopes and binoculars.